My name is Charles Huang. I'm a realtor with RE.max West Coast. We're here to talk about Vancouver West Side today. I mean, getting into real estate was kind of a no-brainer for me because I like interacting with people. I'm not a huge fan of a 9-to-5, which I previously did have. So in the beginning, it was lots of learning about the market, about different types of homes, just getting my knowledge base, up to the level of what a good realtor should be. And over time, it got better, and I think just lots of hard work, dedication, lots of long nights, and then you meet more clients, and then that carries over to even more, and then now I'm doing pretty okay. We have a standalone room for your kitchen. So this is what we call a wok kitchen. So if you're Chinese, this is called a wok kitchen. For myself, I do a lot of cooking myself, and this is going to be a very big selling feature for myself personally.
Is that an indicator of the kind of community they're in then? Like that kind of demographic that this builder is catering to for this area?
I think you make a good point there. I definitely do think so. I think the demographics of Kerrisdale, there's definitely a lot of East Asians here. And so as such, we need our wok kitchens.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Vancouver is such a diverse city, right? We have people who speak all different languages, people from all different places. I'm lucky that, my parents forced me to learn Chinese when I was younger. Like when I was younger, I was not having it. Now that I'm doing this job, it's definitely helpful, right? Probably half of my clients are Mandarin speakers. It's come in very handy. I find it to be an immense privilege to be able to earn the trust of my clients, to kind of, help them buy or sell their home. Because it's probably the single biggest transaction for most people. I treat every transaction as if I'm buying or selling for myself. And so because of that, I put a lot of effort into my attention to detail, which translates into my ability to, analyze the market, negotiate good price for my clients. My number one goal is always to put my clients' best interests first before everything, right? And when you're able to do that, then naturally you're gonna form successful relationships and you're gonna do a good job. A client reached out through REW to show a place in Richmond, built 2004, high-rise condo. They had previously worked with other agents before, but it was kind of during a time where they weren't ready to buy yet. When I brought the client to go see the place, I came very prepared, statistics, comparables, everything. When we went through the unit, I kind of, went through everything with a fine-tooth comb, looked at the plumbing, looked at, if there's any settling in the building. And we found out that indeed the plumbing did have issues. They were having pinhole leaks in the copper pipes. The roof was also in pretty bad condition. And usually that's, for a 20-year-old building, the roof shouldn't need to be replaced, right? And then so I went through a whole plan with them and I told them, hey, this is likely how much everything's gonna cost in the next 5 to 10 years, and you're gonna need to put aside a certain amount of money. So these are all things that they told me that their previous realtor never bothered mentioning. And so I think just from that alone, I think they were quite thankful regarding that. I would say if you wanna try to save money, the first place would be to look at the mechanical room. Lots of times you'll be able to find telltale signs of issues that may have happened in the past or potential issues that might happen down the road. A lot of times you'll be able to see just how well the home is built based on the condition of that room. You look at the different type of materials used for their plumbing. Maybe there's poly B in the house, which could potentially be a problem. You look at what brand the boiler is, how old they are, and just overall how well the inside of a maintenance room is maintained. It actually makes a really big difference. I mean, I think Vancouver West is kind of the quintessential Vancouver area, at least in my opinion, because there's so much history. Like for example, in the West End, a lot of Vancouver kind of started there, and then you got Shaughnessy, which was built in the early 1900s. I think that picturesque look of Vancouver, a lot of it is like a shot of Spanish Banks or something. We have Stanley Park, all of which is in the West Side, right? My personal sort of favorite area in West Side is kind of that Arbutus kind of Kerrisdale area. Geographically, it makes sense for me as a realtor because it's kind of smack dab in the middle of all the areas I service. But aside from that, good schools, lots of greenery, lots of tree-lined roads, lots of parks. And there's also the fact that homes in the West Side are generally built to a higher standard. So if you kind of want that more sort of luxurious feel, the West Side is most likely going to be your best bet. Stephen, let me give you a quick tour of something that my wife and I are currently looking at as well.
This is nice.
It is, eh?
Oh man,
absolutely.
I love how tall the ceilings are.
Yeah, well, you know what? Because it's a new construction, built 2024, it was originally one lot subdivided into 3. Now the house itself is about 3,000 square feet, but there's also a 500 square foot laneway house in the back. So land value is gonna be your biggest thing at the end of the day. And so for myself, I'd rather be on a 50 wide lot instead of a 33 wide lot, if it means that 10 years from now, that lot's gonna appreciate much more. Because the brand new home that's on the 33 wide lot, it's going to depreciate, right? Because the home itself is not going to get any newer, but the land is going to keep appreciating. I would say the structure definitely does matter as well, but I think for the most part, if you're looking at long-term wise from an investment perspective, definitely land is going to be your go-to. Well, I think a big difference now compared to, let's say, 10, 15 years ago is that there's a lot more density in Westside Vancouver now. Perfect example, along the Cambie corridor, at Marine Drive in Cambie, you have Marine Gateway, all those towers there. So a one bed there can be had for as little as 550 to 600K. Those present a good situation for potential buyers, young professionals who want to get into the West Side without having to pay such exorbitant prices. There's gonna be some pretty big changes, and they've already been implemented. City of Vancouver zoning for single detached homes has changed to R11, meaning that now multiplexes can be built, assuming that you have enough lot width and overall size. So what this means is that a lot of previously detached home areas are going to be seeing 5-6 unit multiplexes being built up. So added density. I would say from my end, with all my clients, regardless if they're a first-time home buyer buying a $500,000 condo, or if they're buying a $5 million house, you're gonna get the same thing from me no matter what. I'm gonna always look out for your best interest. I'm gonna be very, very detail-oriented. When it comes to negotiations, I'm very, very, sometimes maybe to a fault, I'm very cutthroat when it comes to negotiations. I'm only thinking about my client. I'm only thinking about how to get them the best deal. So sometimes, the other side might not be entirely happy with that, but at the end of the day, it's about putting the client first.